The Third Side of the Coin, brought to you by XCaliber Coaching and Consulting.
Welcome to part 2.
Hello, and welcome to the Third Side of the Coin podcast, episode 7, Finding Meaning. My name is Alex Aberle, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Tim Wong.
Great to see you again. 25 years ago and to where I am now, I certainly have a lot more understanding of who I am and what I am and where I am. And that's allowed me to overcome challenges or run in parallel to them. Sometimes it's not necessary to overcome challenges. Some challenges are just there.
And a lot of times we're trying to really charge through the wall. I remember when I was assisting my husband in coaching youth soccer, I've always told those little soccer players that you cannot always go through a defender. In fact, you can't go through a defender. You need to go either around them or find a way to pass the ball back to your teammate. And the main points that I'm taking away from what we're discussing are meaning changes with time. Meaning also has different value depending on our experience, and meaning is also interconnected with the others. If we are not paying attention to the world around us and only are stuck in that, what is my meaning, then in a way we're missing out.
Yes, so the analogy of this is that when you're climbing a mountain, you're totally fixed on climbing the path and you forget to stop and look at the view. So the purpose of climbing a mountain is to have a much better view. But in order to climb it and to give meaning to the action I'm doing, I need to look at the path as well. That was one of the biggest revelations I had when I was, for one of my jobs, was that I thought I made it. And I realized that in getting to where I was, I missed out on all the beautiful scenery. Regardless of which summit you get to, the views do the same. But the process of getting up to that summit is different. And that's where the beauty is. So it's not avoiding challenges. It's sometimes being smart, working around it. And when we start to just put a bit of attention to what we understand of what meaning is, we'll soon recognize very quickly that whatever we attach meaning to or values to, it will be the same thing that will prevent you from letting go or moving on. You must constantly evolve. It's constantly changing. And one meaning in this context, yes, but at the same time, be ready to be agile and move on, because that meaning will change.
The core values are going to be there with you. You know, you will add some along the way. Something that I thought valuable when I was a teenager versus now clearly is different. I thought that I was supposed to have 5,000 friends in order for me to validate myself, where now I believe that having just a handful of those people who truly bring meaning to my life is what's important. Those are the shifts. I think when you're saying that the meaning might be different, so it's the way you view the situation or analyze the situation from whatever vantage point you have right now in life is going to be adjusted.
You talked about time as well. Time plays an important part in it. Meaning changes with time, and at the same time, you can change your concept of meanings through time as well. So one of the biggest hurdles we have is our idea of regret and being a culprit. And that has prevented a lot of us from moving forward and reaching our potential. Regret or being the culprit are things that when we don't live up to our purpose or action that was giving us meaning, either took a negative or a positive term. And we hang on to these regrets and being a culprit or being the instigator for a very long time. And it creates guilt. There's nothing wrong to be regretting certain things or being aware that you're a culprit or instigator. But at the same time, let go of it and move on, learn from it. because that does prevent you from being the best you can. So regret and being a culprit prevents you from taking full responsibility because you're still just going around the issue. You just need to then take courageous moment to just take that responsibility. Yes, I did it that way. I know I've caused hurt or whatever it is, and I know better next time that I will not do that again. And it's the same with even our positive qualities. If we hang on to our positive qualities, we become conceited. Having that awareness of being able to let go of both your positive and negative qualities. What gives you meaning, you go positively, go and do it. What doesn't give you meaning is negative, and so you avoid it. Right? So having clarity of that allows you to then be able to pivot through situations in a more effective way. Allows you to learn and allows you to retain humility or authenticity as you grow as a leader. So that time, the meaning, the purpose, allows you to see what potential you have, or really, the sky's the limit. Recently, I wrote a piece on we're now moving to a hypersensitive era. Things that we're afraid to disagree about because we get vilified. How do we live with this? And as I was thinking more about it, I realized that it came down to how you define meaning in your own life and what purpose do you want to reach. It's very interesting times, and especially going through uncertainty in our work culture. And if my purpose is to be the best I can, and the avenue that's always provided me that meaning, such as my work, is not secure anymore, that creates a sense of ambiguity. How do I perform then? How do I become the best I can? As long as I know what my purpose is, then every opportunity I can actualize it. And then every opportunity becomes meaningful for me. It's very deep stuff we're talking about.
I love it, actually, because we are talking about this in the unfiltered way. Well, to an extent, we're always going to filter it to ensure that we don't get canceled in the United States. Hypersensitivity and the cancel culture, it really is requiring a lot of people to censor themselves. And I've lived 19 years of my life in the society where censorship was just a part of life. When I moved to the United States, I thought that I was free. So my meaning started enveloping in a completely different way, because I was able to speak out without any type of fear of retribution. Growing up with my mom's stories where they had to whisper at night if they wanted to discuss anything that perhaps wasn't conforming, and her experience really then brought her meaning of what it meant to survive in the environment. Now we're talking about like 1940s, that time, the era of Stalin and such. I have a different vantage point because I do bring my memories of how I was raised, and then comparing it to the free society where I was able to become anything I could be, coming into the country with nothing and doing everything to evolve and improve myself and learn at a very fast pace. I had to assimilate. What I'm seeing right now, that hypersensitivity, it's scary. When I say finding meaning, my experience are giving me that extra boost to see how can I impact others so they can understand that there's a way to live like a free thinking human without being afraid.
Yeah, I think that is the crisis at hand right now. There is both sides to the stories in everything. Yes, it might be the right thing to do at this stage, but at the same time, we need to bring it into context of where we are now. And that's something where, if we are not respectful of history, we will repeat it. And we're seeing that everywhere it's being repeated. And that's the scary thing. It's the intolerance that is happening in the name of tolerance. And non-acceptance in the name of acceptance. It's all being, unfortunately, blurred in a way where people are getting confused. The success of what has led to our success has brought about this as well. I don't think that we have a good grasp of critical thinking in society now. When I look back at books that I read when we were in school, I could never figure out, why did they pick things like Pride and Prejudice, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Crucible, 1984, all the great Shakespearean plays, poets and all that. And here you were like 11 in your early teens. Now when I look back at it, I realize, wow, I get it. It really was shaping your mind to be able to see things in a more broader perspective, and also to really go the aha moment. Recently, I was speaking to Pamela Peresky. She's a thought leader in teachers at University of Chicago about the mind, of what is the free mind. And as we were talking, we started to talk about what we're seeing now is a Puritan purge that is happening across the world that was triggered by COVID. If you have COVID, stay away from me. Get out of my country, or you're disassociated in a lot of ways. And as you talked about Puritan purge, and it was the first time I heard that she put it that way, and I started to think, oh my goodness, this is exactly like Arthur Miller's The Crucible, which was written during the McCarthyism era in the 1950s, when there was like just a communist purge. And it was based in Salem during the witch hunt. It's a play. And it really talks about the hysteria of people of either you're with us or against us. And you're seeing that coming up now, where have we lost all sense of meaning in our interaction with each other? And that meaning is, how broad-sided can we get? Because the civilizations that we're part of, regardless of what civilization you might consider it to be, have all progressed through debate and discussion, and obviously burning of books. But it's always come back. The success of a leader, when we talk about purpose and meaning, is how far or how much are they able to ask uncomfortable questions and to be able to peel it back like an onion. And it is unpleasant until you get to the core of it.
Yeah. Nothing that requires growth is possible without pain. Leaders are playing such an integral role, even if it's not the leader of the country, the leader on the local level, the leader of the company, the informal leaders within the groups can influence the formation of that meaning for an individual. And it's especially important when you're working with someone who's younger, those who have less experience, not necessarily as established, and their beliefs easily swayed. Those who are in charge, they also are in charge of forming somebody else's life. So Tim, we've talked about a lot, and to wrap it up, can you please tell somebody who is now struggling with finding meaning, where do they want to start?
Meaning is always yours. And what you need to do is to be able to set yourself, what are your priorities, whether it's financial, whether it's status, whether it's a certain achievement, and then work back from it. By working back on it, you'll find that meaning, because that meaning will drive that action for you to accomplish that task at hand.
Thank you so much, Tim. I really look forward to our next episode, and we ask our listeners to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, The Third Side of the Coin. Make sure that you like and comment below. And to learn more about executive leadership and career coaching, resume writing, or organizational development services, go to www.XCalibercoaching.com.